Alright, in this video, we're going to talk about, oh wait, I need my matcha. Alright, in this video, we're going to talk about carbohydrates. Okay, so we've done a brief outline on the macros, and I want to talk about carbs. So, when you think carbs, in the metaphor of running a fire, it's going to be the quick burning, hot burning material that you use. Okay. The foods associated with this is going to be sugar, fruit, wheat, or grains is really what I'm looking for here. Milk technically has some in there, but I would recommend you look up foods that have a high amount of carbohydrate. Okay, so you can figure that out on Google. Okay, it's good to get an idea of what foods fall into which category and then their quantities, because it'll give you a better idea of how these foods are going to react to you, and how well they're going to serve you as far as your energy requirements, because these energy requirements are going to fluctuate throughout the day based off of your activities and many other factors. So primarily your activities though. Okay, so we're talking about this short burn fuel. Your brain runs off of it. I think even though your brain is only like, I don't know, like I can't remember how much percent of your body weight, it takes like 20% of your calories to run your brain. It takes a lot of energy to run it. I can't remember the precise percentages, but it's quite a lot. It's quite a lot. So carbohydrates are the primary source of your brain, the primary source for your muscles when your muscles are working really hard. Now that's kind of weird to discern. You have different types of fibers in the body. So some of them are designed to run off of fat, and they're designed to kind of run all day, and other ones are designed to run off of your carbohydrates or your sugar that's going to be in the blood, and they're there for if you're like jumping, sprinting, or lifting really heavy weights. Okay, so you could imagine it'd be really good to use the long-term energy system for just walking around, doing mundane things, so you don't burn up all of this high power stuff for when you need it. So let's say you're trying to, that's a poor metaphor. I'm going to skip over that. So that's their general role, and that's the different state in which they're being burnt. When you eat carbohydrates, they get turned into glucose in the blood. Okay, so that sits in the blood, and then it begins to fill and store in all of your muscles and in your liver. So your liver, yes, it's the filter for your blood. It's also like a little pouch that holds energy in it. These sugars, the carbohydrate energy, it holds it throughout the day so it can leak it out. So that's primarily there. So when you do a big burst of effort, you can refill your muscles and keep rolling, as well as if you're sitting down and doing a lot of thinking, you can keep feeding the brain so it keeps storing, or so that you can maintain energy. This is one reason a lot of people like to have a snack when they do a large studying session, as well as having carbs before a workout. You can also have them after. So a good way to look at this is if you're going to go to the gym, for an example, you want to make sure all of your muscles are full of energy. And so carbohydrates are a really good way of doing that. One thing a lot of people will do is they'll actually take salt and like a spoonful of honey, and they'll eat that before going to the gym. And honey is really easy, quick to absorb. So when you have something like raw sugar, sodas and stuff like that, it gets easier and easier to be absorbed into the body. So this is a scenario where it'd be actually really good. You fill the blood up with a lot of this energy, and then while you have a lot of energy in the blood, and assuming your muscles and liver, you're using a lot of it with intense activity and movement. Now, this is the caveat. If you add a lot of this energy into the system without using it, and the muscles are full and the liver is full, then what your body does is it goes, okay, we have plenty of this stuff. Let's start storing it for later. And that gets stored as fat. Now, you can imagine if you add a ton of energy really, really fast, it will fill everything up really fast and end up having so much that the liver has to like mop it away and store it in fat. So if you have a sugary drinks and you sit down, you're going to store more of that in your fat than if you have that sugary drink and you go to the gym. Odds are you're going to actually not store that much if you're working out really hard. You're not going to be storing that stuff as fat, and you're actually going to use it to help build muscle. Which actually I should add, carbohydrates. So when you're building muscle, you're building proteins. It's like sticking Lego blocks together. The energy required to stick Lego blocks together is carbs. So it is part of the recovery process too. So this is like your main energy of the body. There's some more nuance to this that I'll get into. But this is how you want to be looking at carbs. It's one of the main energy sources. You can run off of fat, and we'll get into that and why that's important and why that's useful. But when you're going to the gym, when you're doing intense mental activities, it's good to make sure that you have a good amount of carbohydrates on board, and that your muscles are full and that your liver is full. Okay? They're really easy to overdo because they're easy to ingest and your body really enjoys eating them. So planning on having them at very specific times of day can really help. The last little thing I want to add with carbs here is they also can have, when you have like a large like pasta or a big bowl of rice, they can have a calming effect when you have the larger portion, slower release carbs. So at the end of the day, it can be really good to replenish everything because it also has a relaxing effect potentially. A spoonful of honey, not quite the same thing. Like you can imagine, it doesn't require as much digestion. So you don't typically get that from the gym, but you could see why a lot of people encourage people now, with this all in mind though, to have a little bit of carbohydrate before the gym and then another little bit of carbohydrate after the gym, kind of refill everything with protein, because then you've triggered your muscles to want to grow. You've gotten building blocks in, that's the protein, your Lego pieces, and then you have energy to stick the Lego pieces together, that's your carbohydrate. Okay, so that's a really basic way of looking at how these things should work, or how you should use them. Now, there is a bit involved with people who don't know how to balance their blood sugar. So I want to talk about balancing blood sugar now. So actually, I'm going to save that for the next video. I'm going to cover the blood sugar in the next video here. So give me a second.